Detroit City, where stars shine in the east, inside a safe space creating perfect vibes for poetic prophets to light up the D, with creative energy flowing over rivers, streaming through woods into universal hoods where 313's authenticity is consistent from front to back, no matter how it's cut. Innovators raised by a strong hand, warmed in a mitten thrive when real ones rock mics, spitting fire in a chilled spot where poetry is welcomed with open arms. So sit back, relax, come and get this love from your Motor City hostess, Tia Lise, on the B-side.
Come chill with vibes and verses.
What up, though? My name is Legin'D Obasaki, and I'm a spoken word artist out of Detroit. I'm on Vibes and Verses here with you today. I'm going to perform one of my pieces that I like to do when I'm at open mic sometimes. So yeah, I'm gonna get into it. You probably need a title, but you're not gonna get one. But no. So yeah, here we go. As I check the reflection in my black mirror, bought with a black card on Black Friday, all I can see is a Black Panther staring back at me, ready to black out during Black History on behalf of Black Lives Matter. Oh, and trust, you can't catfish this black cat with blackfish. Black is the new black. Orange was never its origins. It dates back before the new era wave of snapbacks, or the wearing of wave caps, or the way when whips crack, or the wave the slaves crossed just to feel the snap of a whip's crack. It's just that, to think back is seen as a sin when it was never intended to be. The men who win intend those to switch, staying stationed, playing games on X number of boxes, 365, using screens as tinted windows to prevent you from seeing the actuality of things, presenting a false reality through memes, as if the past has a way of misleading us instead of teaching us. If each of us is unable to reach what once was due to the state of being things not new, then it's safe to assume our future is out of date. So while we wait, I feel like I've been living a life without one, sitting in transparency, only opaque when fear claims rationality and exposes the disparity. A rotten topic needed to be served au gratin in order for me not to vomit on any regular day. My issues are invisible to you, but if they impede your day-to-day, then I'm a problem to be viewed. Black Ghost sounds like a summer blockbuster. If there's something strange on your block, better call Blackbusters. They'll be sure to catch those blacks and turn them into memories to be forgotten. Applying pressure only profuses the bleeding, misleading the cause of death, making sure our protests receive a beating. Black Ghost, only tangible when you need to apply the cuffs. Tough hides prove incorporeal when comparing entry holes to exit wounds in order to move you to see what the meaning of mattering is. Schrodinger's black box, a coffin of thought made to carry the weights of how we truly live. No matter what you say, I've never seen someone pray so hard for parlay except for when guns are at play. Bullets bouncing off a human being is deemed as ineffective, while passing through is seen as completely unaccepted. Only when lodged in the head or torso, the middle of a man, can people understand where the middle ground lands. So, you want to buy my silence because you don't want to pay for your acts of violence. Well, Ebenezer, you don't get a choice of either. Time's up for reparations. Our apparitions demand prohibition of a racist nation. Thank you.
I love it. Love that. Love that. What up, though? What up, though? What up, though, y'all? It's your girl, Tia Lise, the Motor City Sis, and this is yet another episode of Vibes and Verses. And I have my friend, my friend, poet. I'm going to let him introduce himself.
Good evening. I am one of the most illustrious poets you will ever meet in the city of Detroit. My name is the Urban, the Legend, the Obasaki. No, I was playing.
I knew you was going to do something. That's exactly why I did it.
No. My name's Legin'D Obasaki. I'm just a spoken word artist and writer out of Detroit, Michigan. So yeah, that's who I is.
Motown Mike winner.
I mean,
Motown Mike Spoken Word Artist of the Year.
I mean,
2024.
and you know, just some stuff here and there.
And be all over the slam open mic scene,
Mm-hmm.
everywhere. You come to showcases, you support other artists.
Yes,
I think that's the dopest thing ever, you know. And so I got to start off this interview the way I started off with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
What is your poetry story?
Ooh, that is a good question.
Thank you.
So I don't know. Like, all right, so I tell this story a lot because it's the most pertinent one. About 10 years ago, wow. I stumbled upon the slam in Detroit. It was at the Aretha Franklin Jazz Cafe.
Okay.
It was hosted by Joe Fluent.
Yes.
It's crazy because I had been writing before that.
Mm-hmm.
But it was the first time that I had seen poetry, a poetry slam live.
Okay.
And it was crazy because I was just downtown. I had got off work. I was looking for something to do.
Mm-hmm.
I was walking around. And I was like, oh, what's this? And I had walked in. I had asked, like, yo, what's going on tonight? And it was like, oh, it's a poetry slam. I'm like, oh, well, do I have to buy a ticket? How much does it cost again? It was like $10. I'm looking like, $10? $10. And I gave him the 10. And I sat out. And I watched everybody perform. It was my first introduction to like Peace Bell, Omari Barksdale,
yes,
Caesar Toriano.
Oh yes, yes.
Dismantle.
Yes. I know all of these people too.
Not LaShawn Phoenix, but Phoenix. I forget. I don't think he has a last name. It was just Phoenix at the time.
Okay.
Sheezy Bobeezy.
Okay.
It was like 15, 16 artists that night.
Yeah.
And I was just in there like, oh, wow. Amazing. Like everybody was so great and I couldn't call it. Mm-hmm. I forget who won that night. They had like 3 winners. Mm-hmm. And the artist who won was from Ohio. And I was like, oh, boo. But from there, and don't get me wrong, she was dope.
Right.
It was just like, you know, you want somebody from Detroit to win.
Right.
From there, Sheezy had kind of like, you know, reached out to me because I had talked to him. I was like, man, I loved your work. He's like, oh, cool, da, da, da. So we exchanged information, and he showed me around the scene at the time.
Okay.
So I was getting to know all the artists, and I learned the scene, where to go, who was prominent. I met Azizi at Hopcat, and then Prostel and Foster.
Yes.
I had got to know them. I had got to know like a lot of different artists around the scene. I met Thomas when he was hosting over there at Always Brewing off of Grand River.
Okay.
I got introduced to a lot of 90s when it was over there off of Woodward.
Yep.
And I had toured the scene, and then I took time away, and then I came back ready to perform.
Gotcha.
So it's like around 2019 or 2020.
Okay.
Fourth quarter of 2019, me and my homeboy, Chris Townsend, who's a phenomenal poet in his own right, we had worked together, and I was like, hey, bro, we should go out and, you know, hit the open mic scene. He was like, yeah, we should do that. We had been talking about it for a couple of years, but he was like, yeah, but life, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So 2019 hit, and I was like, I'm going to do it. We going to do it. Let's go do it. And we went out, and then COVID hit. I was like, oh. It's like, and now we quarantined, and I'm like, I'm just doing poetry in the house, like, violets blue, roses is red. The cops be trying to kill us dead. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. And once the quarantine lifted, I was like, as soon as they lift that quarantine, I'm out here.
Right.
And as soon as they lifted it, I was out here. You know, like I was in these streets, and I was hitting every open mic I could, and I was spitting, and like, so I would meet all the artists I had met, like, you know, years ago.
Right.
And the first person I met was like Sheezy. Sheezy was the one that was like, Urban, you know what I'm saying? Where you been, bro? Everybody else was like, who is this Urban fellow that I keep hearing about? And to that effect, I was kind of like, you know, I noticed I had to like, you know, make a name for myself.
Yeah.
And get back out there. My work and my pen game had elevated to a point where when people heard me on the mic, now they paying attention, like
who is this?
Who's this?
Right.
Urban, when they hear my name, like Urban Legend, then they be like, Urban Legend, you know,
right, yeah.
Like, so it was a lot of that, and I just stuck with it. I started, you know, my first year of doing this consistently, I had toured all the open mics in the city.
Okay.
And then my second year, I started getting features. It's crazy. Like I started like really literally like in 2021. That was my feature run.
Mm-hmm.
I started getting features around the city at like NEP, Non-D's,
Okay.
Lyrics and Libations,
Sure.
Poetry and Punchlines,
Yeah.
and various other spots around the city.
Right.
And then from there, I started doing my own shows in Garden City.
Okay.
Me and my partner Chris, we started hosting events out there where we wanted to highlight poetry and kind of like open people up to the artist. So we would have the artists present their work, and we would have like Q&As and stuff. To have
Okay.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sit down conversation. Exactly.
And what we wanted to do was hear the audience's side of what they got from the art.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times what ends up happening is we as artists go out there and we give the art and we don't know how it's received.
Absolutely.
And so some people take the wrong conceptions away, or they take away misconceptions and they apply it to their life the wrong way.
Exactly.
Like you could do a piece, like the piece that I did tonight is about relationships, but often I've heard people say, yeah, you know, these women don't be knowing a good man when they see one. I'm like, that's not
what
the piece
was
is about. You know, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, you just come off as bitter. Maybe you couldn't handle a good woman. I'm like, that's not what the poem is about. Like, it's not about a man versus a woman situation. It's about a relationship that you shouldn't be in because it's not healthy.
Exactly.
Right.
And you said that in the beginning. You said it's about narcissism, and you see what I'm saying. But again, people could be looking right at you, right, and everybody hears what you say, but not everybody is listening.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's the exact same premise I was looking to do with this. You know what I'm saying? They're getting to the artist.
Yeah, because the conversations are important.
Yes.
Because the thing is, it helps the artist and the people receiving the art.
Yes.
Because artists don't often know how their work is being received.
Absolutely.
And it makes them more cognizant of how to present it.
Exactly.
And the audience aren't always actively listening, so they tend to listen to what catches their ear.
Yep.
And it's like they use a lot of confirmation bias. So it's like, well, I feel like, you know, I've been treated wrong in relationships. So they'll hear a piece about relationships and like, yeah, that's about me and how these dudes be out here doing me dirty. And it's like, nah, you missed
the whole thing.
So it's like, you know, pay closer attention. Don't be afraid to meet the artist where they are.
Exactly.
Because the neutral position is, somebody had told me this and I got irritated. It was like, Urban, you got to meet the audience where they are. I'm looking like, I did. I came outside. I'm on this stage. They came outside. They in the audience. We met in the middle. You know what I'm saying? At this point, what I give you, you need to meet me yet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I can't always be catering to you. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
I love your honesty.
Look.
I love it. I just had to say that. I love your honesty. And I love the fact, because like you said, you are a phenomenal performer, right? So people are automatically intimidated by that. You know what I'm saying? They can't tell what you're going to say when they see you. They don't know where you coming from. And then when they see how deep you go, you know, most of the time they don't get it. But they still know it's deep.
Yeah.
You know, and they get intimidated by that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but you really are a down-to-earth, funny guy. Like, just cool as hell. Like, you know what I mean? You're a cool ass dude. So listen, this is what I want to ask though. How did you come up with the name Urban Legend? And did you do it for the shock value that people, did you do it so people could be like, Urban Legend? You know what I'm saying? Or, you know what I mean?
No, honestly, and okay, so shout out to Stephen Griffin, who I'm sorry, Stephen Grant. I say Griffin because Family Guy, but Stephen Grant, who's a poet friend of mine.
Right.
He said, you know, some of the dopest poetry names are those that are given to you, not those that you come up with on your own.
Yes.
So mine is an amalgamation of different names that I've gotten from friends over the years.
Okay.
I like different friend groups gave me like different nicknames and stuff. Obasaki came from one of my friends who was just like, we was talking one day and he was just like, I forget how he said it, but he was like, Obasaki-san. I'm looking like, man, what? He's like, yeah, that's your name, Obasaki-san. I'm looking like, what does that even mean, bro? And so that was like one of the first nicknames, and then Legend came from one of my homeboys who kind of like made me aware of I forget the conversation we had, but he called me Legend just randomly one day, and Urban came from a slew of things. It was like I don't want to say it was more political, but it was like from conversations I had with friends regarding our status or like our social status in the city and whatnot, and how black people are considered urban. In America, that is just code for black. Or it's code for like uncouth, or it's code for just all of these things. So and it has a greater meaning overall, because the name is like the Obasaki is half Yoruba and half Japanese. Oba meaning king, Saki meaning destination.
Got you.
So together it's King's Destination. Urban Legend, King's Destination. Overall.
Now see how many of y'all know this brother, and y'all never thought to ask him that. See what I'm saying? That's why you need vibes and verses.
Yeah.
So that you can find all that out. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
So this is what I got to ask too, because I knew that this would be a show that would resonate with poets, but I also want it to be a show that resonates with curators, because as we start seeing so many different open mics and everything, there's gonna at some point become a need for people to do something to make your open mic stand out, make it exclusive. From inclusive but exclusive at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I want to ask, because I know you've been in the city and outside the city, right? And outside the state. What is your biggest poetry venue pet peeve?
Punctuality.
Hello.
That is my biggest pet peeve, because you need to condition an audience and the performers to show up on time.
Thank you.
Because some people come there at the allotted time. You said it's gonna start at 7. I come at 7. And here you come at 7. It don't start till like 8:30 or 9 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? And by that time you're like, well, I had to sit her for 2.5 hours, and y'all
and now I'm out.
Right. I gotta be to work in the morning, and so it's stuff like that. And then I don't like how people are just very like antsy to get on the list. Sign the list. If you want to get on the list, sign the list. Don't be like, I'm gonna see who else gonna sign up for. Just sign a list so
and
we can have a list. You know what I'm saying? Because now we don't have a list, and that forces the person that's curating the show to have to wait for people to sign, which causes people to be like, all right, well, people ain't signing the list, so I gotta wait. And I can't start the show because there's nobody on the list.
Right.
And people like, look, you said 7, and it's 7:30, and I'm still waiting. Nobody signed the list. You want to sign the list? I don't want to sign the list. I came to watch. And it's time management, punctuality. Stop being scared. Like that's
it's the truth though.
That's my thing.
I feel attacked.
You feel attacked. No, but that is true though.
But I'm telling you, I'll be like I'll be the last one to sign the list.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. Every list there's a beginning and an end. The thing is you got to get on the list in order to share. And and the fact that you write your name will make somebody else say, okay, well, I'm gonna sign the list too. But if everybody's sitting around waiting to see who's gonna sign the list,
they'd be like, we only got a few slots left. I'll be like, okay, they ain't gonna give it to me, maybe.
Right.
What's crazy is there are venues that have built a cult following, and how they do it. Like Voices in Power is a very popular one.
Yes, it is.
And I've heard, I haven't been yet. I'm gonna try to go.
All right.
Shout out to Soulful Poetry and Ari Lane, who went out there recently. Soul had performed there, and then he got a feature. Out there, so that's dope. They put on for the city, and Soulful's dope, and Ari is dope.
They both are.
But they have it to where they put names in a hat, and they draw them out randomly to pick their artists. So if you want to come, you can. It started at a certain time, and it'd be a line around the block. So
That's pretty dope.
That's dope.
Yeah, so it's like you don't get to pick which where you go up at. Just be ready and be fired. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, you know, and I like how they do that. And people be anxious to sign up. Like, I want to get up there because they're going to put me on YouTube and whatnot. And I like how they do it in that regard. And they also have, like, other things they do, like little, like, party games they play to keep the crowd, you know, engaged.
Yes.
So they won't be like, well, I'm bored. Poetry is getting boring. And I like how they do that. What was I going to add to that? That being said, I feel like that could be adopted in a lot of ways to have a set list.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't go on for infinity. It's just like, they have like maybe 10 or 15 poets.
Yep.
And that's it.
Once they reach their max, that's it.
And right. So they you sign up and they pull whoever name they going to pull out. And that, 10 or 15, they go to the feature. And the feature goes, and I think they close out. Which is dope.
Yeah.
But I guess here's the thing. Here's what I'm going to say. There are people that are scared to sign up. They don't want to go first for whatever reason. They don't want to embarrass themselves. But there's also people that are scared to. They don't want to go up first. And they are scared because they're new and stuff. But it's more so like, I want attention on me. So I want to go up when the audience is at their peak. That way I can go up there and do my thing. And even though...
And they might be more receptive.
Yeah. And they're not that good. But it's like, but no, the audience going to be with you at this point. Because, you know, somebody else that's dope warmed them up. And that's... But I'm like, no, just go up there. Just go. I don't...
You just got to go.
Just go.
Just go.
As a matter of fact, because you knew, you go first. That way, but they want a certain kind of we talked about this earlier with the TikTok stuff. Like, you don't get to be where I'm is, you know, because you ain't do the work. Like so, like I'm up here, I'm dope as I'm dope AF, and I'm warming up the crowd. Like, oh my God, this dude is sick. Who is this guy? And then you come up behind me like, yeah, I'm not as dope. But can I borrow some of his energy? No. I worked hard to get that energy.
Get your energy.
You can do it.
Right.
I started from, but that. So I mean, I'm joking, but basically what I'm saying is like, don't be afraid to go up there first.
Yes.
You don't need a lot. It's not about a large crowd and all of that stuff. People showed up on time. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't have to
everybody would get the same crowd.
And that's where I'm at now with it. If you don't, I'm at shows starting on time.
Yeah.
And people that show up late, if you miss your signing on the list, if you miss the performer you wanted to see, so be it. Get there on time. But I had to go to work and I didn't get off till late. Well, does your boss at your job be like, no, you go like, nah, get here at 8:00. Like it says when you sign the application.
Right. So,
yeah.
I get you.
We should have poetry applications. That's what we should do. We should have applications for audience members to sign. You know what I'm saying? Like you send in a resume, like, so you want to come to a poetry show tonight? Is that what you want to do? Okay, well we start at 7:00. If you don't show up on time, 3 tardies, and you can't come to no more shows. That's a wrap. 3 tardies.
And I would be the one that would keep that. I would keep the ledger.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I had those teacher tendencies, so I'll just be like,
we should do that. We should definitely do that.
I get that. Well, see, that's why I needed you here. Now you got to tell me, what is something that you've seen? Well, you had to already answered it because I was, I always ask the pet peeve question first, and then I say, what have you seen that's dope? But you just told us what you saw that's dope. Is there anything else that you've seen that kind of stands out that you'd like to see adopted here? Because I like the fact that you could sign the list and then they pick it randomly.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's like pretty much calling on you in class.
Okay, like you said, be ready.
Silent,
be ready.
Go straight to the list.
Be ready.
Who not raising their hand? Yeah, you.
Yeah, that is though, because people go there a lot and they sign the list, and they might never get called.
Yeah.
But it forces you to stay ready.
Yeah.
Because you might be like, they ain't gonna call me today, and they were like, Tia Lee's, oh.
And I have been there.
Oh.
I have absolutely did that. Like, I've sat there so long, I signed the list because I get there early. I get there early for a couple reasons. I want the first batch of chicken, in the grease. I want that. And I want a good seat. So I get there early for several reasons. But because I get there early, I sign the list. And when I sign the list, I eventually want to get called.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But I have been sitting there and done had a couple wines, and they say, TLE. So I'll be like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, let's do it. But you still got to be ready.
Gotta be ready.
You know, still got to be ready.
But to answer your question more, now this speaks to me personally, because it's
Okay.
something that is ubiquitous within the poetry community, and you can't necessarily copy this.
Okay.
Somebody will try to if I say it, they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna do that." But it's not. It's a respect thing.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about poetry spaces is you'll have a ton of people pat you on the back.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be like, oh my God, I love that piece. It was, I love it so much. Or, dude, man, I like the way words come out your mouth, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
But it's a respect from your peers.
Yeah.
And it's the genuineness from it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when you get off the mic, if someone you look up to or somebody you respect pulls you aside and has a conversation with you about your work, and it's one of, it's not just great job, but it's also like, man, I love your work, and they actually talk to you about your stuff at a deeper level. Those conversations off the mic mean more to me than all the applause and all the oohs and ahs when I'm out there, or like any awards, because it's like I like reaching the people, but also like having the deeper conversations.
Yeah, and knowing that you touched them to the point that they got to have this conversation with you.
And most people don't want to do that. They just want to, like, shower you with praise and adulation. And it's like, yeah, but did you hear what I said? It's funny because there was a poet recently. Her name is Ray Love. She has an open mic out in Pontiac. Waterford, I think it is. It's called Love and Lyrics. And she had performed at this other space that Mike Phelps was hosting, which I don't remember the name of, but it was like a limited series.
Yeah.
Across from MGM in this open garden setting.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, it's over there by MGM. I know exactly what you're talking about.
And so she had went up and performed, and I had told when she got done, I was like, "Oh man, I loved your piece." She's like, "Okay, yeah. What did you love most about it?" I'm like, "Ooh." And she's like, "Which part resonated with you more?" I'm like, "See, you caught me. But I did like her piece, but in that moment, I couldn't think of a specific line because I wasn't trying to grab lines that I liked.
You just liked the whole piece.
Yeah, I liked the whole thing. But she caught me. But I wasn't ready to talk to her about her piece in depth, because most of the times people don't be trying to do that.
Right.
And so I was like, see, you caught me doing the thing that I don't like to be done. But I really did appreciate that from her, because more poets do need to check certain audience members, not in the nigga, what you talking about, but like in a real, okay, let's talk about it. Let's have a discussion.
Exactly. Be open.
Because your art should elicit discussion and discourse.
Yes.
When you go to an art gallery, you look at the paintings, you're like, pretty, not pretty. It's pretty there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You sit there, you look at it, you study it, you try to find something that you like in it. You talk to somebody else, like, what do you see? You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
And that's the thing. And I think poetry is supposed to do the same thing, but people just be like, I like it. I don't like it. Why don't you like it? 'Cause
I'm looking. I'm trying to see. I think the light then went off.
Oh no!
I think it has. I know it has. I think it has. Look, just tip over there. You're gonna tip over there. Look, I know it's dark, man. Or is it still going? Yeah, good. I can edit this part out. That ain't no problem.
Hey,
when it's your spot. Ow! Like, But you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I dig that. Now, okay, so we got your pet peeve. We got where urban legend came from. That was cool. And then
that's exclusive, by the way.
I know, right? So now you got to take me into the next 3 months. What you got on the docket? What you got going on?
Ooh, okay. So, I'm gonna be vague just because. Just because I don't keep a clear schedule. People be like, "Hey, you want to do this thing?" I'm like, "I'll do that thing."
He like, "I'm cool. That's what's up."
Like, "Oh, no, I don't want to do that thing." So right now, I have a few shows lined up. I know next month we're going into Black History Month, so there's gonna be some shows dealing with that. I have to keep people posted because I have been asked to do some things, but I'm still waiting on confirmation.
Gotcha.
Right now, I think I have a Valentine's Day event on the 16th of next month. I'll be it's a show that's being curated by One Single Rose. So, shout out to One Single Rose.
That's the homie.
That's
and that's who did my intro.
I was like, oh my God, I know this voice.
And then the singer is there.
Oh, Well, was unaware.
I got to put her on blast.
Mm-hmm.
Miss No List.
Who is this melodic voice?
Yeah.
But no. So One Single Rose is like big sis. She's been like what's crazy. I'm gonna say this. I don't know if I'm gonna get in trouble for saying this. I'm gonna say it anyway. So I went to Idlewild. Honeycomb was she throws an event out there during the summer, and which fast forwarding, I might be at Idlewild. That's one of the things I might be doing. Hosting an open mic out there. But no, I had talked to One Single Rose. I had introduced her and whatnot. And this is before the Motown mic competition. She just kind of told me, she was like, oh, you got it, Urban, the 2024 Motown mic challenge. I ain't even performed yet. You know what I'm saying? We still a couple months out. And also, don't you got mentee? She was like, I said what I said. And I'm like, okay. So she had it, she was. Hello, it's me again. The most urban of legends, Obasaki. And I come to you with another message, in poetic form. This one is derived from my latest book that I co-wrote with two other independent authors by the name of, well, the book's title is Don't Believe Your Lying Eyes, and it's about narcissism in relationships. So this one is a reflection of that piece. This one I don't mind giving you the title on. It's called Spare Change. Oh my God. It's been a bumpy ride. From jump started when she drained my energy, leaving me empty. This turncoat won't turn over any truth, alternating the key reason why she can't see her treason. A cold-hearted air conditioned to kill the warmth of emotion. A maiden made to anti-freeze what she sees as run-of-the-mill idle devotion, with a tongue that's serpentine. She belts out vile things. All her slick talk got me heated. Please believe her anger disorder will get treated with an STFU pill in a glass of water. Pump the brakes, cause now she's in my face. Let me lift her hood and see why she's so outspoken. I see the problem. She's a basket case because her headspace is broken. All her back talk bound to backfire. She best change her attitude before her attire. It's flat out jacked up, and just my luck, I'm stuck trying to fix a chick who didn't ask me to. I drew the short straw to be the one to tell this broad her flaws hold her back in life. Just because she functions don't mean she working right. I'm tired of trying to iron things out with a woman who's 5 lug nuts loose of a working wheel. Trunk loaded with luggage, yet she's still in the habit of adding more baggage. This is where wrong and right intersect. Ever since she left the womb, she believed that her birthright to always be right and correct. She looks at it one way, and that way is that one right can be made from 3 lefts. The friction in that thought process is a product of misdirect that led her to be a proponent of disrespect. The fruit of that fiction will ripen only to let their bitter truth sour her sorry attitude. Look here. You ain't sweet, and you're crazy and cute. You just plain rude. A stale bagel, made without flavor, moldy and covered in rotten raisins defines you as food, and to be honest, it sounds like the corpse of a better you. Only a fool would try to tame a person whose cruel intentions are her default disposition, but toxicity has always been a regret project of my side missions. Projections of false pretenses. Let's pretend this instance will be different. I'll give you my heart to kiss, and you won't give me your ass to lift. It won't be met with an asterisk. You won't put it all at risk to lay with another under the covers and cover up the foul deed you did. How the hell did not see the precedent? Made to believe that it doesn't affect the present tense from manipulation of evidence. It's maddening. Every time I go to bat for you, I'm taking aback at all the tools you use. Dead set on keeping my mind confused as I choose to perpetually be abused. But it's not my decision. It's the inception of a broad living rent-free inside my thoughts. Nasty, narcissistic ways. Sadistic sarcasm used as a mask out of masochism for those who don't want to play the game. And I just want to live, bruh. Love and let go. But she uses my love as a tote, to be a token of affection to add to her collection. What saddens me is that it's stressing those left around me. After those who left in droves because they couldn't cope with my inconsistent emotional findings, but my logic was binding, bonded to rules suddenly subject to change. So I remain in the game, on the bench, convinced that guilt is the guillotine to prove my innocence. I overestimated my ability to repair the one I desire. Sometimes helping a person achieve change ain't as easy as changing a tire.
Love it, love it. I told you was always ready. I told you.